Hey, this is Gary with Black Diamond Games. I want to talk today about discount culture. I like cars, and I tend to buy them a little more often than I should. And when I go to buy a car, I try to get the best bargain possible. Why? Because that's how you buy a car. It's it's built into the system that customers don't pay sticker price. Customers always go below that sticker price, somewhere between dealer invoice and MSRP is a sweet spot where everybody's happy. That's just how you buy a car. If you pay if you pay more, you're a fool. If you pay close to invoice, you've made out and you've accomplished something. That's car culture. That's automotive culture. It's just the way it is, and it's always been that way. And trying to buck that system is difficult. I know Saturn tried it. Saturn's not around anymore. They used to have MSRP pricing. You go into the showroom, the price is the price. Same thing with some high-end automakers. They can do that too. Anyway, when I talk about buying a car and I talk about negotiating, which is something, if you like cars and you're going to buy cars, you're going to have to learn to do. My Gamester owner friends get upset with me. They say, how can you be talking MSRP and holding the line when you work so hard to get this lower price when you buy a car? It's like, well, it's a different culture. In the game trade, the discounting, believe it or not, is not built into the system. It is not a system in which if you can get halfway between my invoice price and the MSRP, that you win and I win. That doesn't happen. You win, I go out of business. There's not enough margin there, right? Maybe an online seller who has a warehouse in the middle of nowhere and a skeleton staff and everything cheap. They can do that. They can go somewhere. They can go halfway between invoice and MSRP, and they can survive indefinitely and do pretty well with that. But for a store with all the requirements of being in a downtown, like a high traffic location, the requirement to have a clean, well lighted space, having staff that are trained in doing what they what they need to do, that's expensive, and customers demand that. You can't have a half-ass retail store and survive because customers expect a pretty high level of service. So uh, the the game retail stores, the culture of the game trade does kind of slip towards discounting. It's not quite a discount culture. There are a lot of people that that's all they do is buy online, buy at a discount. It's a pretty sizable percentage. But when it comes to a retail store, it doesn't have to be that way. And there are things that you can do as a retailer to avoid falling into that discount culture trap. Uh, I was going to go over a few of those. So that's kind of the point of this: is how do you avoid the uncomfortable conversations, the angry customers who expect better pricing from you? How do you manage that? Because a lot of store owners report having a difficult time talking with customers about this kind of stuff. A lot of customers expect that discount. I never have those conversations. There's a reason I don't have those conversations, and I want to kind of go over that. Uh, the first thing is your store. How much money did you spend to build your store? Who's your store attempting to attract? If you spend the money and you have a higher end store, you send a message, right? If your fixtures match, if the carpet's clean, if the bathrooms are clean, if basically everything is in order, and you hold your store as professional enterprise, it customers recognize that. They see that this place is a little upscale. They wonder if perhaps it's a chain store, it's a corporation. Because if you're a chain store, then there's no shenanigans. I've had thieves try to ascertain, asking me if I'm a chain store. And really, what they're asking is, if I do something here to anger you, will you beat me to death, roll me in a carpet, and get rid of me in the desert? And the answer I want them to take away from me is maybe. a little bit of fear is useful in that situation. So getting back to being a little more upscale, if you have an upscale store, you will avoid a lot of those uncomfortable questions. People will assume you're running a professional operation. That's the first thing. If you don't have that, I'm not really sure you can go farther. I'm not sure where you can fix this. The next thing is everything should be priced. Everything should have a price tag on it. Everything should be clear as to what it costs. There shouldn't be any guessing. There shouldn't be any negotiating. It shouldn't be any deal of the day. It shouldn't be people get one price depending on your mood. I know Magic singles especially are like that in many stores. Magic singles, the prices fluctuate daily, so some store owners just don't put prices on them. You ask me what the price is, I look it up in a computer, I tell you how much it costs. Well, that just opens up the door to negotiations. Like, I don't want to negotiate every day on Magic cards. I don't want that to be part of my life. If you don't want it to be part of your life, don't do that. Either price the cards or use a kiosk. We've moved to a Magic card kiosk using TCG Player Pro. The prices change daily. They're on the cards, or they're not on the cards. They're in the kiosk. You know what it costs. We don't have to have that discussion. We did this setup before with a different system because we didn't want to have conversations about Magic cards. Just don't. It's 30% of our business. We're not a Magic shop. We'd love to sell them. It doesn't mean we need to have Magic card discussions. Sure, talk to me about your deck as much as you want, but I don't want to have a conversation about why Liliana of the Veil is now worth $7 instead of $6 and how the meta has changed. I just don't care. I don't care. I got a life. I've moved on from that. So that's one thing. Same thing with clearance product should be clearly marked. We don't give volume discounts on that stuff. You can't buy a 5 get 6 free. I don't want to have that discussion. There's that guy. If you open the door to it, they'll can't hurt to ask. He'll always want the discount. And I want to avoid those guys because it does hurt to ask. It keeps me up at night, makes me angry. So it does hurt to ask. Sales. When we have a sale, it's a clearance sale. And that means that thing will never be here again. And it will be at the lowest price it will ever be right now. It'll be at about 40% off because that's the discount I can give to where I don't lose my investment on that product while still covering the cost of things like credit card processing when you buy it. Things will sit there for a while at 40% off. It doesn't go much further below that. If something's 40, 50% off for a long period of time, it may just go in the trash. It may get recycled, might get donated to Toys for Tots. Who knows? But it doesn't get any better. So this is it. Come and get it. And by doing that, customers don't wait for the sale, right? They don't wait for things to go on sale. I don't have holiday sales. My Black Friday sale is a bigger clearance sale. It's not everything at a particular discount. So you train customers with your behavior, and the sale is the biggest way of training customers. You don't want to train them to wait for the sale. When you're a new store, you clearance out a lot of stuff. You try new lines, they don't work, you clearance them out. And you will attract a group of vulture customers who will pick you clean of these dead products. But they will come in and wait. And if they see you flailing about as a new store owner, they won't buy from you. They will wait. They will see that you have things on clearance now. They will expect things to be on clearance later, and they will wait. They may even suggest some other things you might buy because they would like that also on clearance. So I think that's it. Hopefully that's helpful. You want to avoid the clearance customer. You want to avoid the low rent customer because there's going to be that guy who comes in, and honestly, if you have a nice store, it'll turn him off. He won't like it clean. It'll upset him that the bathrooms are clean, that the carpets aren't stained, that there's not hard rock music playing on the radio. That will bug him, and it's fine because he doesn't have any money, but he can go across town and play at that other store that's not quite as nice. You will, whatever choices you make will decide who you get, and it will turn somebody off one way or another. So there you go. Thanks.